Anime of the Decade, presented to you by What Do You Say Anime. I am your host Peter, and on today's episode I will be counting down our list of animes of the decade, numbers 20 through 11. If you missed the first episode, please check it out as I did animes number 30 through 21. I would also like to dedicate this episode and all forward episodes to my father, who recently lost his battle with cancer and would be pissed off with me if I didn't continue doing what I love. Before we start, I would like to recap the structure of this show and how I came to these particular ratings. First, any show that aired from 2010 to 2019 is eligible, with the following exceptions. Any shows that have significantly more popularity in Japan than in the West, such as Detective Conan or Doraemon. As a North American podcast, I felt like our target market would not understand the impact of these shows without going into grave detail. Second, any shows or franchises that span multiple decades that make it hard to justify their impact on a specific decade. From last episode, I used Dragon Ball as an example. Next, any shows with multiple seasons, spin-offs, OVAs, or similar anime-related content may be listed as a franchise. As an example we used from our last episode was the JoJo series. To make things as simple as possible, in terms of public rating and popularity, I will be basing shows off of my anime list, as it is the most popular anime tracking site in North America. Lastly, shows will be ranked by community input from listeners like you. Personal and public rating, popularity, visuals, sound, voice acting, cultural impact, genre impact, generalization impact, monetization, and any other miscellaneous data I found while compiling this list. So with that out of the way, let's get to our number 20 show. Starting in at number 20, we have our group of lovable idiots, a group consisting of a useless goddess, a misogynistic knight, a one-spell-a-day lolly mage, and an unfortunate yet lucky protagonist who is trying to get back to his own world. At number 20, we have Konosuba. Konosuba, consisting of 2 episodic seasons, a movie, 2 OVAs, and a side feature in Isekai Quartet, Konosuba takes its place as one of the best isekais and overall hilarious shows in anime today. Beginning in winter of 2016, Konosuba has become one of the more popular isekais on the market, as its popularity ranks 47th all time. Konosuba's satire of the isekai and sometimes dipping its toes into the harem genre makes for a refreshing anime to watch in order to avoid the ever so popular, overpowered, black-haired isekai protagonist that you know just everyone loves to keep seeing. Konosuba takes its thought-out perverted jokes and adventure RPG style show and turns it into an adventure we all look forward to watching. The recent success of its movie also contributes to a spot on this list. Legend of the Crimson raked in over $1 million in its North America 2 showings earlier this November, and is now the second highest rated isekai of all time. With its success in the box office, popularity, rating, and personal bias as one of my favorite shows ever, Konosuba meets the fate of Truck-kun, landing at number 20. At number 19, we move away from the laughs and into the feels with one of the shows where the tear ducts in our eyes seem to have stopped working and our living room is now flooded. At number 19, we have Ohana, the flower we saw that day. This 11 episodic 1-season show, and technically a sequel movie, grabbed our hearts and gave it a twist in spring of 2011. Ohana and our group of super peacebusters struggle with the loss of one of their best friends who has suddenly reappeared 5 years after her death. Ohana is the most consistent answer to the question, what anime has made you cry the most? And this is a good thing. Ohana relates to something everybody goes through and something I have recently experienced in my life, and that's the loss of a loved one. Its popularity and ranking make it an easy choice to be on this list alone. But along with those 2 factors, its art and music make a lasting impression even to today's standards. At the time of its initial release, only K-On! And Madoka Magica has ever sold more Blu-rays in its first week. With everything combined into such a beautiful show, Ohana blooms into our countdown at number 19. Coming in at number 18, we have the Monogatari franchise. Spanning 11 different series in this franchise, this supernatural, romantic, donut lolly eating vampire takes the cake. Or pastry. And one of the most confusing starting points in anime. The Monogatari franchise easily has one of the most unique art styles in anime thanks to its brilliant work from Shaft Productions. Monogatari takes us on an adventure unlike any other. How many shows do we see entire seasons of a show centered around somebody other than our main protagonist? The characters of this show make for a fun and unique perspective of the supernatural spirits our cast has to deal with. A show filled with multiple waifus, best girls, a season ranking at an impressive number 19 all time, and general popularity of the show, the Monogatari franchise comes in at number 18. Coming in at number 17, we have our first sports anime on the list. The Kurosawa High School volleyball team spiking their way into our hearts. Haikyuu. As an ace of the popular Shonen Jump serialization, Haikyuu takes this powerhouse of characters and story of volleyball and turns it into the highest rated, most watched sports anime of all time. At the time of its recording, Haikyuu has 3 seasons, with a 4th season and 2 OVAs on the way. A slight personal bias, as season 3 of Haikyuu is my favorite anime arc of all time. What Haikyuu does the best at from any sports anime I have seen is incorporate the feelings of its players at any given moment. You feel the rush of a comeback, you feel the sadness of a devastating defeat, and you laugh your ass off to a spike in the face just like all the other players on the court. As a former volleyball player, the immersion you feel with this show is on par with what you would feel in real life. Along with its absolute incredible soundtrack, its cast of characters, popularity, and consistent high rating, the Crows of Kurosawa soar into our number 17 slot. Get ready and feed your anger up as we prepare for the number 16 show, Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100 teams up a ragtag duo of psychics and turns the world on its head, with 2 seasons and 2 OVAs. Where to start with Mob Psycho 100? First, the music. Season 1 and Season 2 OPs are absolute bangers, with Season's 2 OP 99.9 is a contender for Opener of the Year. Best boys, ranging from the growth of Mob, the best dad ever in Reagan, and the bros of the universe of the Body Improvement Club, along with any of the other multiple characters introduced throughout this series that could be considered for this category. Artwork. With Bone Studios at the helm, we are treated to some of the best visuals a show has to offer. With Season 2 rating of 8.89, ranking 21st all time, is an easy option for Anime of the Year for 2019, and Season's 1 popularity nearing top 50 all time, Mob Psycho 100 takes action, comedy, animation, and music and raises it to a 99.9. An absolute modern masterpiece takes its place at number 16 on our list. At number 15, we have our second sports anime on the list. A show that dominated an award season so much in 2016, it was dubbed as the Yuri and Ice Awards. Coming in with a triple axel, we have our favorite overweight ice skater, Yuri, in Yuri on Ice. So just how dominating was Yuri on Ice? With its 7 nominations at the Crunchyroll Awards, it was nominated for Best Boy, Best Animation, Most Heartwarming Scene, Best Couple, Best Opening, and Best Ending, and it won every single category. To put that in perspective of shows that year, Erased and Mob Psycho 100 came in second with 2 wins apiece, and that's not even tipping the iceberg of its impact. In 2018, the Japanese Olympic pairs ice skating team competed with their music selection of Yuri on Ice. Along with its strong representation of ice skating in general, Yuri on Ice also has an accurate representation of anxiety and its debilitating effects on someone and everyone around you. While not technically established but made essentially clear, the popularity of the show expressing its homosexual relationships between Yuri and Victor was some of the most fulfilling romance and kiss scenes in anime history. With its cultural impact, brilliant sound and animations, and overall great story, Yuri on Ice reaches the podium at number 15. At number 14, we have the general consensus of anime's community's most wanted season 2 ever, the ever popular No Game No Life. Coming in as the 8th most popular anime ever, consisting of one season and a prequel movie, No Game No Life is a no-brainer to be slated on this list. Animations by my personal favorite studio, Madhouse. No Game No Life uses its vibrant color palette to create a breathtaking world of gods and goddesses in the games that rule their world. While the movie No Game No Life Zero does have a different twist compared to its episodic show, it ranks at a highly respectable 8.53. While not technically groundbreaking show in terms of story, No Game No Life is the highest ranked and second most popular isekai of all time. Will we ever see a season 2? Who knows, but for now, No Game No Life sits firmly at our number 14 anime of the decade. Our first movie on the list, we have number 13, A Silent Voice. Coming in as the second highest rated anime movie ever and nearing the top 50 in popularity, A Silent Voice is one of the greatest stories in anime today. A coming of age tale of not only the main character, but everyone involved in their journey of acceptance and responsibility of bullying. Touching on serious issues such as mental health, depression, and suicide being tangled up in a masterpiece. A movie where I saw an entire theater of people bawling their eyes out of the realism that this movie portrays. The animations are top tier as well, which is not surprising coming from Kyoto Animations. As my personal favorite anime movie of all time, A Silent Voice's realism adapted into anime is in a tier of its own. Its touching story, with its brilliant animations and characters, leads A Silent Voice at number 13. Playing into our hearts at number 12 is Your Lie in April. Your Lie in April came out in fall of 2014 and currently has an 8.84 on Mal. To say this show is beautiful doesn't do its justice. The show alone is worth stating for the visuals alone. However, if you show up because of the visuals, you most likely will stay for the music. This is because the music and visuals blend together in what I would call a masterpiece of art and a major contributor to why this show is well loved. When it comes to the story, the characters are likable and relatable. The main character, Kosei, the loss of his abusive mother draws him into a deep depression, and he loses his ability to play the piano. At this point in his life, he started to be a standstill, metaphorically speaking. This type of loss is something many can relate to, be it a loved one or a dear friend taking before their time. It isn't until the beautiful Kaori finally enters his life does he find someone to really pull him out of his depression and get his stop clock ticking again. The story takes the element of us individuals learning to stand on our own and overcome the adversities we share in our life. People who enjoy love and tragedy and see the beauty in these things will truly have loved Your Lie in April, ranking at number 12. Rounding out our list today is our number 11 show, March Comes In Like a Lion. Spanning 2 seasons, March Comes In Like a Lion showcases our main character Ray with his struggle of depression and relationships, family, and perspective on the world of shogi. While Season 2 shifts some of its focus on the second family, the Kawamotos, and mostly the middle child Hinata and her struggles with bullying, the real-life portrayal of these issues shines a light on the drama genre of anime. With Shaft Production at the helm of the animations, we are treated to a lovely cast of rosy-cheeked characters, beautiful cityscapes, luxurious backgrounds, and a gorgeous scenery. Season 2 ranking at a 9.01, solidifying it as only one of 10 shows in anime history to achieve a My Anime list ranking of over 9. We end today's list at number 11 with March Comes In Like a Lion. Thank you once again for tuning into this edition of What Do You Say Anime of the Decade. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment or thumbs up on the video and tell me. Follow us on Twitter at What Do You Say Annie. That is What Do You Say ANI on Twitter, or email us at whatdoyousayAnime@gmail.com. Look in the next coming weeks for the last 10 episodes of Anime of the Decade. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.